Hey, listen, Michelle and I just got back from a little travel, and we want to show you how to make coffee on the road here on Bean Basics. Oh, hey there. Welcome to Bean Basics with Bob and Michelle. Welcome to sunny Saugatuck, and welcome to our home and kitchen. And it's sort of strange to be back to our home and kitchen because this is where it all got started, right? But we weren't using microphones and we weren't using lights and stuff like that. And then we moved to the lab. But we're back here at home because we just got back from Italy. And unfortunately, both Michelle and I got COVID while we were there.
Yeah.
So we're quarantining at home. But we just basically unpacked our bags, and I wanted to share with you, because we do travel with our own coffee, because we don't like hotel coffee, because it's usually instant coffee. Even in a great country like Italy that has fabulous espresso, many great foods and wines and so on and so forth, we just need that good quality cup of coffee to get us out the door, to get us to that next espresso shop. So
it really comes in handy if you have to quarantine in your hotel room as well, as we now know.
As we now know, for sure. So I'm going to show you what's in my travel bag, take it all out, prepare a cup of coffee, and show you how we do it on the road. It's a pretty compact deal. Now, we are traveling with our own kettle even. Up top, I always have a little bit of a washcloth to clean things out. I have a bag that, as I go through the world and traveling, I collect pieces of plastic cutlery and sugars and stevia and napkins and stuff like that, because I never know when I'm going to need them. In this case, I do have a converter plug because we were in Italy, so we need to go from an American plug to an Italian plug or a European plug. There's our Narita, our travel kettle. There's our grinder, the Vessl. There's our coffee, and there's these are
our Gojos.
They're Gojos, that's right. And it's confusing because inside the Narita, I have two cups that are called Stojos. Right, so these are Gojos and these are Stojos, and it just gets a little confusing for me. But these are collapsible cups, so you just pull them down, put the heat band on here, and they do have like ounce markers and stuff like that, but we're not going to worry about that too much, and a lid to keep it hot and everything like that. So we do. Like I say, have our Narita kettle, and we have an episode on our Narita kettle. We'll put that up here. I think we have an episode on the JoGos, Gojos, and on the Stogos, and or whatever they're called.
There's lots of going and joing.
That's right. The reason we like this kettle is because you can change it from 240 to 120. And it just takes a little flip like this, so you don't need a transformer or anything like that. And in Italy, I could have just then, plugged this in here and then plugged it in the wall, and away you go. But we're back to 110. We're back to an American plug, so we're just going to plug that in here. And when we walk into our hotel room, often there's 2 bottled waters sitting there. But if not, these are easy things to pick up while you're on the road. And this is a small bottle is usually 500 mils, and you can you don't have to measure anything. This is 500 mils exactly, and in it goes. And I just went ahead and started it. Did the light turn on?
Yep.
Okay, so that's going to boil a little bit, and while that's getting to the boil, I'm just going to grind some coffee. It's always best fresh ground, and that might feel really indulgent. But if you're going to travel with your own coffee, you might as well make it as good as possible. So I do put the coffee in a resealable bag. I have these sort of nondescript bags that I can seal up really good and open it up when I get there. You can just put it in a Ziploc bag. It doesn't really matter. I do put BIGGBY Best in there. And I have a method of scooping out the coffee. Now, I have figured this out such that if I just fill up this hopper here, that's going to be enough coffee in order to make us 2 good quality cups of coffee. So we're not talking about any kind of scale or anything like that. Just sort of some rough measurements, but measurements that we're definitely familiar with, right? That's sort of the idea here. And I'm going to pick up my bits and pieces that I dropped, snap on the grinder, and put on the handle, and just go ahead and start grinding, right? So now, at this point, you might be like, well, I'm glad I'm not doing that. And that's certainly what Michelle says as I prepare her coffee in the morning and get it all ready. But, you know, if you're good at grinding and you can get it all ground before the water even begins to boil. Now, the Narita does come with a lid, but I keep the lid off because I like to keep my eye on it to see if it's going to be at the boil anytime soon.
Because we like it just before the boil, right?
Right, that's exactly right. So if I see that it's going to start moving to being really, really, really bubbly, and there we go, we're done. You can hear there's no more, and you can hear this going too, right? So it's not to a violent boil yet. I'm going to give it a little bit of a tap, 1, 2, and oddly, and you might say, hey, that's odd, I'm going to put the coffee right in the pot. Now, this will remind you of cowboy coffee, which we did an episode on, and we'll put that up there. But at this point, I'm going to take my JoGo and just give this a stir. Now, the whole idea of the JoGo is that you could put the grounds right in your cup. That's not what I'm doing today, right? I'm putting the grounds right smack into the pot, just like cowboy coffee. That's an immersion method. We've determined that's a great method to make coffee. Now, if you're listening closely, and maybe I can just bring this to you a little bit, it's going to get ready to hit the boil, and I'm just going to go ahead and unplug it right now. Okay. And at this point, with cowboy coffee, of course, we'd use cold water to bring these grounds to the bottom, but because we have our JoGo...
Actually, it's Gojo.
Gojo. I'm just never going to get it right. You know, I'm going to give this a little bit of a stir. But the advantage of this device is that it has this little microfilter on here. So even though, yeah, I'll pull it away too soon, even though you're going to be pouring coffee and grounds into your cup, you're not going to be taking any of that into your mouth. And if you're accustomed to drinking coffee with a straw, and many people are because they're trying to you know, not stain their teeth or something like that, you can just get started on drinking your coffee right away. If perfect. If I was with Michelle, of course, I'd have to put some stevia and some cream in here. We'd have to let it sit for a moment because she likes it hot but not too hot. So we're always just trying to get it right as we can for her.
Which I appreciate very much.
Which she really appreciates, right. And so you can tell in a snap I was able to make fresh coffee. I can do this anywhere in the world as long as I have the right converter plug. Well, I don't even know where I put that plug. As long as you have the right converter plug, you can make coffee anywhere in the world as you travel, and that's what we do. So I appreciate your indulgence. We'll get better soon. And this is how we make coffee on the road. On that note, though,
when you love the world
will love you right back.
Hey, thanks for joining us. For future episodes, click the subscribe button. Being Basics is brought to you by OneBigIslandInspace.com with 2 G's.